Well, we are taking a look back at 2024 in the city of Hamilton with Mayor Andrea Horwath. So it's something we're doing with all of our local mayors in the next few days. You get to start it off.
Yay!
Yeah. So the new year, February 25th, didn't start off the best for Hamilton, the cyber incident.
It didn't. And I mean, I'm happy to say that there is a silver lining, which is that the city's systems were all very antiquated, and they were going to have to be replaced anyways. And so not only did we not pay a ransom, but we are now in the process of rebuilding our systems, which needed to be done in the first place.
Yeah.
And so it maybe sped up the process a little bit in terms of those investments, but really it was time. It was long past due for a number of those different systems, as a matter of fact. So yes, it was awful, and I really want to say thank you to the people of the City of Hamilton who put up with a lot, and we know you did, and I'm grateful for your patience. But boy, was it a hard go, and I'm grateful for the staff who really worked hard, and the councillors who've been frustrated because their constituents have been calling them. But all the way around, we are not finished yet because of those investments and the rebuild that needs to happen. But boy, it was not a good way to start 2024, that's for sure.
And was it ever figured out, like, who did it or where it came from?
Well, and so there's still, believe it or not, there is still an ongoing police investigation, and so we're still being respectful of that. But these are bad actors that they shapeshift, right? So they're on the dark web, and they are, you know, partners here, partners there, and they move around the globe, frankly, wreaking havoc on communities big and small, businesses big and small, you know, governments big and small. It's quite the racket.
Okay, let's talk about strong mayor powers. You invoked yours.
Yes.
For the first time this year.
I did. We are in a serious housing crisis, and we need to be at the table with other orders of government to make sure that we are getting the partnership dollars that we need to start to provide solutions. We can't do it alone, and so part of that means we are required. It's imperative upon us to make sure city land is available, surplus city land is available for housing. So that's when I decided it was on a tie vote, time to you know, basically make the tiebreaker happen, because with 16, the tie vote is always a loss, and for this reason is why I did invoke those powers. And you know, for the most part, I mean, there are people who are still unhappy, but for the most part, people understand. I mean, our city is in the worst housing crisis we've ever seen. That's the case around the country for sure, but we had no plan. I mean, the City of Hamilton had no housing plan. So now we're at the end of 2024. We have a plan for sustainable investments over time for housing. It's called the Sustainability and Investment Roadmap for Housing. We have a housing secretariat. We've basically put together in, you know, just over a year and a half to almost 2 years, the structure that will help us not only now, but into the future to address the housing needs of Hamiltonians and people who we're welcoming to the city. So it's something to be proud of. That, along with a whole bunch of other things that have become stagnant over the last number of years. And so we've got the LRT is starting to move in terms of investments from the province, in terms of making sure that there's some staff in place to move it forward. The procurement starting. We've got the arena project underway, which is amazing. The airport renewal is happening as well. So there's been a lot happening, and you know, we're just over 2 years in, so pretty proud of it.
Right. Let's talk about, so the strong mayor's power, to get back to that. So that was over a parking lot issue in Stony Creek, but we're looking at a bigger area of land, the Barton Tiffany area.
Yes.
For
that was
the tiny shelter.
Yes, the directive, And so this is another, again, back to the housing crisis, right? One of the things that had been talked about was the possibility of creating a space for temporary shelters, and that was kind of coming out of the protocol, the upset, and rightfully so, that people are starting to feel around the use of green space and parks that's being restricted from family and neighborhood use. And so where's the solution to that? And so in terms of trying to make that solution happen quickly, in the context of a conversation that we had already been having as a council, that's why I put the directive forward. And that's full steam ahead. I mean, we're getting that happening. But the even better news is that we've also massively expanded our shelter system. And so even just today or yesterday, I guess I got a text that there are a number of more shelter spaces, I think 17 was the number, that are going online today at the YW. We have all of our providers, the YW, the Good Shepherd, Wesley, all of them are expanding their capacity for shelters in our city, and that's a good thing. Some of them will be permanent, some of them will be temporary, but the most important thing is there's over 300 new shelter spaces that are being made available, and that'll all be done before the end of December. And so that's, it's not appropriate, as we all know.
Yes.
It's not humane to have people in tents, but we also want the permanent housing. So that's the other piece that we're still trying to leverage with the provincial and federal governments is to get those permanent housing spaces. And they're being built. There are some permanent housing spaces being built. I was just at an announcement on King William Street, a partnership between City Housing Hamilton and Indwell to provide the housing and the support services, which are so necessary. And there's many more examples. There's another City Housing Hamilton project on Bay Street North. There's another one down at the Queenston Traffic Circle. So we are building the housing, but it can't be built fast enough for the crisis that's upon us, right?
Okay. Our 6 minutes are up already.
6 minutes on housing. Almost.
A year in review.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Mayor Andrea Horwath, thanks very much. We'll get your links up on our website, chch.com/morninglive.